January 29th, meteorologists track a typical winter chill, but then a rare warning. Models now show a coastal storm so explosive it could become a historic bomb cyclone. Ensembles clash over its path, either staying offshore with a glancing blow or hammering the east coast with blizzard winds and feet of snow. Most chilling, this setup almost never happens in late January. So, how did the data suddenly tip toward chaos? Forecast models, usually in quiet agreement, now split sharply on what comes next. The global forecast system, called GFS, clusters its projected storm track well offshore, tracing a sweeping arc that keeps the worst snow and wind out to sea. On the other side, the European model, called Euro, hugs the coastline, dragging the storm core up from the Carolinas toward New England. This is more than just a line on a map. Each model is backed by dozens of ensemble runs, each a slightly different recipe for how the atmosphere might behave. The GFS ensembles scatter eastward, suggesting a glancing blow, maybe some wind and a few inches of snow, but the main event missing the big cities. The Euro ensembles, though, tighten along the coast, stacking up tracks that spell out heavy snow, hurricane-force wind gusts, and coastal flooding from Cape Hatteras to Cape Cod. The difference between these two futures is razor thin. Just 50 to 100 miles east or west could decide whether places like Virginia Beach, Atlantic City, or even Boston see a historic blizzard or a cold, windy day. Meteorologists watch spaghetti plots, those tangled webs of possible storm paths searching for any sign of consensus. But as of January 29th, the models remain locked in a standoff. The GFS leans toward safety offshore, and the Euro keeps sounding the alarm for a major coastal impact. Both camps have their reasons. The GFS often underestimates coastal storms, while the Euro has a reputation for catching big East Coast events early. With each new run, the tension grows. The models are not just predicting weather, they are arguing over the fate of 75 million people along the eastern seaboard. Ensemble forecasts are more than just a tangle of lines. They are a window into how likely each scenario really is. Right now, the numbers are shifting toward a coastal track. The European model ensemble runs 50 different versions of the storm, and it has tightened its spread to just 8 hectopascals in central pressure at the center of the low. That means most of its members now agree the storm will deepen explosively right along the edge of the coast. The American GFS ensemble is still wider, about 12 hectopascals, but even there recent runs show the tracks clustering closer to land. In plain English, the odds are stacking up for a major coastal impact, not a miss out to sea. Why do these probabilities lean toward the coast? The answer lies in the physics just offshore. The Gulf Stream, a ribbon of warm ocean water flowing north from Florida, sits right beneath the projected storm track. When bitter Arctic air rushes out over waters at 25 degrees Celsius, it creates a sharp temperature contrast, a baroclinic zone. That is meteorologists speak for a turbocharger. It fuels rapid pressure drops and explosive strengthening. Models pick up on this, especially the European model, which tends to handle these ocean-driven storms with more precision. As the storm taps into the Gulf Stream's warmth, it draws in extra moisture and energy, making the coastal solution not just possible, but increasingly likely. The statistics are not just numbers, they reflect real-world forces lining up for a rare and dangerous event. Heavy snow is now a near certainty for parts of the Southeast and the Mid-Atlantic. Forecasts show a swath from eastern North Carolina up through Virginia and into the southern Appalachians, where totals could easily reach 6 to 12 inches, with some pockets pushing past 1 foot. These are not just flurries. Bands of intense snow, driven by a rapidly deepening low, will stack up quickly, burying roads and neighborhoods. In the Outer Banks, the National Weather Service has issued a high wind watch starting Saturday evening. Sustained winds are expected to reach 40 to 50 miles per hour, with gusts as high as 65 miles per hour. That is strong enough to snap tree limbs, bring down power lines, and make travel nearly impossible. The combination of heavy, wind-driven snow and plunging visibility means blizzard conditions could develop, especially along the immediate coast and into the tidewater. Whiteout scenarios are on the table, where snow and blowing powder erase the horizon, making it dangerous to step outside. let alone drive. For coastal residents, the risk is compounded. Hurricane-force gusts will whip through exposed areas, rattling windows and battering anything not secured. Further inland, cities like Raleigh, Richmond, and even as far west as Roanoke are bracing for significant accumulation and damaging winds in the 40 to 60 miles per hour range. Power outages are likely, and emergency crews are already on alert. With the storm's explosive intensification, these impacts will ramp up fast. Hour by hour, as the low bombs out just offshore, the threat for a true blizzard grows more real. The focus now shifts to the coast, where snow and wind meet the open Atlantic. Coastal communities from the Carolinas to Cape Cod now face a threat that goes far beyond snowdrifts and wind. As the storm's core deepens offshore, the Atlantic is already responding. Swells are building, driven by pressure falls that will push water inland with every incoming tide. By Saturday night, just as the high tide peaks, forecasters expect inundation along vulnerable stretches, especially barrier islands and low-lying neighborhoods. Water could surge 2 feet or more above normal in spots, enough to flood roads, parking lots, and the ground floors of businesses that line the shore. Beach erosion is almost guaranteed. Each new wave, stacked higher by the storm's fetch, will claw away at dunes and seawalls already battered by fall nor'easters. In places like Myrtle Beach, Virginia Beach, and the Jersey Shore, the risk is not just to sand, but to property, homes, and storefronts perched just beyond the high water line. During the storm's peak, some stretches could see overwash, where water flows right over the barrier islands, cutting off access and leaving debris behind. Rip currents will become deadly, even for strong swimmers. Wind-driven surf will break higher and faster than usual, pulling water out to sea with dangerous force. Officials urge everyone to stay off beaches and away from piers. Conditions will deteriorate rapidly as the storm approaches. For marinas and fishing fleets, the timing is critical. Boats not secured or moved inland before Saturday evening could be damaged or lost. The window for preparation is closing fast. As the focus remains on snow inland, the coast faces a different kind of danger, one measured in feet of water, not inches of snow. Stay alert to National Weather Service watches and warnings, avoid beachfront areas during the event, secure outdoor furniture, and move vehicles and boats to higher ground when possible. Prepare for power outages associated with coastal flooding and high winds, and follow local evacuation orders if issued. Bitter cold is about to sweep across Tennessee, bringing a threat that is easy to overlook in the shadow of a coastal blizzard. As the storm pulls away to the northeast, Arctic air will rush in behind it, dropping wind chills near or even below zero from Clarksville to Nashville. For Middle Tennessee, this is not just a cold snap, it is a dangerous plunge. Pipes that survived the last freeze could burst overnight. Power grids, already stretched by January storms, will face new strain as heaters run non-stop. Emergency rooms in the region have seen spikes in cold-related injuries after past Arctic outbreaks, and this one could be worse. Even brief exposure will be risky, especially for the elderly and those without steady heat. The cold blast is not just a footnote to the storm, it is a life-threatening event in its own right, demanding attention as the snow headlines fade. Charge your devices now and gather flashlights. Power could go out with little warning as winds ramp up. If you use a generator, keep it outside and away from windows to avoid deadly carbon monoxide. Stock up on enough food, water, and medication to last at least 3 days. Fill bathtubs or buckets with water if you live in an area prone to outages. Secure anything outdoors that could become a projectile, such as trash bins, patio furniture, and holiday decorations. Stay off the roads as the storm hits. Travel will become dangerous fast, especially where blizzard conditions develop. Check in on neighbors, especially the elderly or those with medical needs. Keep monitoring local National Weather Service alerts for updates. Watches and warnings can change quickly as the storm evolves. Today's models show how quickly rare extremes can threaten millions. As the atmosphere grows more unpredictable, every storm like this rewrites what normal means for the coast. Preparedness is not just advice, it is survival. The next chapter of our weather could arrive faster than anyone expects. Stay safe out there.